perhaps it would be helpful for us to introduce what the, so I'll introduce myself. So I'm Kelly Frost, I'm the Director of Foundation Relations at Babson College. For those of you who don't know Babson, we are a business school in Wellesley, Massachusetts. We have about 3,000 undergraduates and about 1,000 undergraduate students. But we also have a mission. I'm going to read it to you so I don't get it wrong. And I looked it up earlier. We have a mission to prepare and empower entrepreneurial leaders who create, grow, and steward sustainable economic and social value everywhere. And our statement of purpose is to empower learners everywhere to create lasting value for themselves, their communities, and for the world. And so though we're a small business school outside of Boston, we actually have an international impact. And we do that through partnership. And this is an example of that partnership.
Excellent. Well, so wonderful again to meet you in person. We met virtually over a year ago, so it's great to be here with you.
It's great to be here.
Greetings, everyone. My name is LaShawn Allen Muhammad. I serve as the Executive Director at Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation. Also in the space that we like to call the People's Republic of Brooklyn. We like our own country. And our mission, we are turning 35 years old this year. I've been ED for the past 8 years, but our mission is essentially to prepare local individuals to put them on the pathway to a self-sufficiency, and entrepreneurship is one of those pathways. And so we are, we've been working with Medgar College School of Business as a community partner for the past 6-7 years. Recently, more so with Babson, as we build our incubator program. We're building a business center in Brownsville. And so this financial literacy program is a great mechanism and springboard for us to expand our programming. So we're really excited to have the conversation.
Excellent. So this is one example. Babson serves the international community by bringing our expertise as it's helpful to grow the capacity and to enhance programs at the local level. We believe that our local partners know their communities, the needs of the communities best. They have their own expertise, and we certainly are interested in competing with that. And so we offer our expertise essentially in 4 different ways. One is through entrepreneurial educator training. So working with peer institutions, with peer educators, and sharing our pedagogy and our, again, expertise in entrepreneurial leadership development with colleagues. Second, being a convener of those colleagues so that they can share and grow and benefit from each other's knowledge, experience, and understanding. 3, sharing our programs and pedagogy so that you can take that and enhance the work that you're doing on the ground. And then 4, through research, through these kinds of, participating in these kinds of endeavors. And then we have 2 research, international research symposia that we offer through Babson. And we're also responsible for gathering the data for the Global Entrepreneurial Monitor report for the United States every year.
Excellent.
I could just ask a question. It sounds quite an exciting program, and I can see where this is going. But I think what I'd like to know is what was the initial event that actually created the idea? Was there any pre-research? Was there any sort of collaboration, or was it created over a cup of coffee or something? What was that light bulb moment that actually suddenly said, you know what, this is needed, and I think what we have to do is to put something in place to create a pathway, to allow people to be successful. So that's my question.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your work with Medgar Evers?
Sure. So what, our initial introduction, to actually, I guess, as we started to build, we were writing a grant application. We were applying for a federal grant to build a business incubator, not only for Brooklyn, but also in Maryland. And it was an amazing model. It wasn't funded, but it was an amazing model. And that was our introduction, to begin to think about how we could possibly work together. And so then we were informed of an opportunity to participate in the financial literacy trainer program. And so although the initial reason why we came together to create a partnership didn't pan out, we have the opportunity now.
I think Dr. Roll, as being one of the international conveners, she brought us all together when she was the chairwoman of the HBCU Business Deans Roundtable. Babson is a member of that roundtable, and we've been working with all of the HBCUs, particularly the smaller, less, financially viable or well-funded HBCUs, again, to bring what we can to the table to help grow capacity. And so I, as the fundraiser, found an opportunity with the NASDAQ Foundation. They're very interested in funding financial literacy. We have a financial literacy program that's offered in modules and can be done very effectively in an interactive way remotely. So it's something that participants of all ages can participate from where they are. It can be offered in multiple times, so it meets the needs of the working student and the parent student and what have you. And we have, again, as part of our mission, we have this program and we will work with our colleagues to teach them how to utilize this pedagogy in their own communities, weave it into their communities as it's most appropriate, and advance it. So this grant is funding a pilot where we're working with Medgar Evers and several other HBCUs around the country to offer the program to their students, to their communities, work with them to think about how they can incorporate it into their offerings. And then as the final piece, we will provide training to our peers so that they can then utilize these modules that we've developed. Moving forward, we'll continue to bring the group together, to facilitate ongoing learning, to update the modules as appropriate, so that we're continuing to support the collaborative effort.
Anything else?
I was just going to add, I'm sorry, I was just going to add, the beauty, about this is it allows us to build capacity, as we look to, we're always at a nonprofit looking to fundraise, and think of ways to expand our programming. And so partnering with programs like this allows us to do that, as we look at, so it helps us to build capacity. Yeah.
So I'm very curious to know, in India, are you working with some institutions on capacity building?
We have, so at Babson, we have several programs. We have what we call the Babson Symposia for Entrepreneurial Educators. It meets twice a year. Babson, we call it the Global C. And so we have educators from around the world that participate there. We also have Babson Academy. And through Babson Academy, we do customized training and based again on the particular needs of our partner institutions to build their capacity. And then the Babson Collaborative, which is that ongoing facilitation. And so we're always seeking to bring additional partner organizations under that umbrella. the goal here is for us to, as educators, we see anyone who's interested in entrepreneurial leadership education as a potential student, but we also see it as an opportunity to offer our expertise so that we're not recreating the wheel. We can put our energies into doing the new.
I think this is a fascinating sort of project really. Looking at it from a business perspective, how do you evaluate the success of a project? And would that be perhaps one of the conditions of any financial support that you might receive?
So how we are evaluating success will be the number of partners who choose to take the training and weave the pedagogy into their local offerings. That will help us to determine whether this is a useful program for the larger ecosystem. But I think that we also leave room for each local community partner to determine how best. Per student, we do pre and post evaluations, so it's really a self-evaluation where they talk about what they've learned. And we have, it's in the high 90s, and I'm not doing it justice, but it's in the high 90s, the reporting that we get back from the participants that the information that they're gathering has been useful, new, something that they feel that they're going to use in their lives. So it's a piece of something larger. I think as a standalone, it has some value. I think it has much greater value as being part of something larger.
Absolutely.
Just to give you an idea of one of the issues that I had to face was the exposure of what my product was. Do you have a similar issue? Do you know what sort of exposure? Or you say advertise, but certainly market the benefits of being part of the program?
Well, I would say that, the reason why this works so well is because we are able to integrate the product into what we're already doing.
Right.
And so not only are we launching a business incubator, but we also, we run an entrepreneurship training program for middle schools, right? We have an after school program. We also offer workshops to their parents. We have an adult literacy program where we're helping individuals obtain their high school equivalency diploma. So we have various programs where we can integrate the product into what we're already offering.
That was one of my next question was what sort of pathways available? And you've answered that. That's really good.
And we went into this expecting that each of our partners was gonna would come to the table with different expertise in-house. That's also varies, that they would have different opportunity presented in their particular ecosystem. They'd have particular needs. And so it was an opportunity to bring something to the table it's almost an ingredient. That can then be, it can be woven into the fabric of economic development agenda, approach that is very specific to the needs and opportunities in any particular area.
You see, I could see this program as a ring fence, perhaps as an elective within colleges and universities, and then the students. If they're of that sort of, that's where they want to go. It's a natural pathway
Right.
for them to continue. So I can actually see that being woven into a much more structured university.
I love that idea, sounds like, so my daughter is in her first year of college and she is taking what they call Dragon Seminar. But it includes financial literacy, some life skills. So it's sort of like a bridge course for a first year college student. So I love that. idea
Yeah.
as a pathway, especially with our adult literacy program.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of places now, you know, people don't go from, master's to PhD, they have a pre-PhD. And that is a smooth run. You know, it might only be a 6-week introduction. Let's call it a pre-PhD. Most people call it a master's degree. You know, it helps that transition.
And so I love a preliminary preparation, anything free, I love that. Especially, in communities, like, we serve, the education system hasn't been the best. So we find that supplemental, support is always necessary. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
no,
that idea.
my opinion.
Our vision is to see centers for entrepreneurial leadership in communities around the world. And for each of those centers to have educational leaders within that community, to have NGO partners within that community, and business. And this has inspired us to develop other modules of other programs and pedagogy that we have that we're offering now to our partners, again, for them to use almost as textbooks that they can weave into their curriculum as appropriate to kind of fill those gaps that they might have, or to meet a particular need that they hadn't been able to fill themselves. And so we see this as a beginning. Yes, sir.
So in today's rush, there's a lot of talk about, the decline in college enrollment.
Yeah.
And the fact that many young people are now turning to the trades as opposed to going to college to see economic viability. But the question still remains about financial literacy. So whether you're in the trades or in college, that doesn't mean you have access to financial literacy. So it sounds like this is a good example of fintech, which Babson is known for. I think the University of Rhode Island. So we're
Neighbors, absolutely.
But so Babson has a long tradition and history in the field. But the outreach, is it based upon nonprofits, NGOs? For example, like here in Brooklyn, reaching out to you. Do you reach out to communities like Providence and elsewhere that might certainly be a need?
So I think that it's very organic, I will say that. So it's where the interest and the partner meets with the resources to make it happen. And we're always ready to step in and play our part in that. And so I think we have our own programs that we've been kind of offering to the outside world, and we've been in recent years, it's been not months, but years, but in recent years have recognized we can customize these, or we can design these so that it's not just an out of the box, we're the experts, this is what you all need to know, but instead it can be something that you as professionals and colleagues can weave into the work that you're doing as the content experts for your institution or your community or what have you. But we would love to work with you. See.
Well, if I may, just to follow up, the work we're doing in South Africa, we're looking to onboard 1 million SMMEs into a platform that we constructed around artificial intelligence. And it's basically to take the entrepreneurs of the South African business community from its 9 different provinces and increase not only literacy, but to use AI to make it optimized in terms of how they interact with the government and the like. So my question is, how would your program fit with an international opportunity of that nature? And is there an interest in Babson into looking at international?
Yeah, I would say definitely there's an interest. I can speak with confidence for my academic colleagues that there would definitely be an interest. We have the generator. I don't know if you've heard, there's a group at Babson that is very proactively looking at AI and how to weave AI into the classroom and how to have this revolution of AI, how to kind of not manage it, but to like engage students and faculty to think differently with this new product and this new technology. And there's absolutely an interest in Babson to bring whatever expertise we might have to the table in ways that it's helpful and useful globally. So 100% we would be interested in talking to you about that from the AI perspective, from the fintech perspective, from the entrepreneurial leadership, entrepreneurial thought and action, pedagogy perspective, from the financial literacy perspective, what have you. If we have expertise in that area, we're eager to talk to you about how we can partner to help what you're doing.
So I do my middle. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I apologize, I was trying to do something on the outside, but one of the reasons why we put Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation together and Babson together is last year, we all worked on a federal grant proposal. We weren't successful in that proposal, but what I wanted to say was it's about the relationship and building on the relationship. Babson is working with the HBCU Business Deans Roundtable and bringing entrepreneurial faculty to the table. I think the HBCU Business Deans actually are funding about 9 entrepreneurial faculty from across HBCUs to attend one of their workshops. And the whole purpose is to have more entrepreneurial curriculum and faculty participate at the HBCUs. Many of us have taught courses, but not necessarily have gotten the training. And hopefully, working with them and Howard University, which LaShawn is on the board of the Executive Center down there. So like we heard earlier, all these things are connected. And we are just very, very pleased to have Babson and the the Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation working together with the Academy, PWIs, PBIs, and the community to bring more entrepreneurship success into our community. Financial literacy is a part of what you're talking about now, but it is bigger and greater, and all of these collaborations work together. LaShawn is like, I in my presentation earlier, I told them that we literally had an office in your office doing entrepreneurial development for K-12 and the GED cohorts that you work with. So it sounds like I'm making a speech and I'm not, but connected, and hopefully as we go along, we will stay connected in the relationships and do greater and bigger work. So it was a speech, I apologize.
I think that was retirement work. Taking shape.
People will never be tired. People, I just want to say thank you so much for your leadership, your friendship, your partnership, and everything in between. You know, you have opened so many doors, not just for Central Brooklyn, but for all the community residents that we represent. You know, there are many people in our communities that never see the lobby of a college. They never see a classroom in a college, like Medgar Evers College School of Business or Babson. But by partnering with Central Brooklyn, it opens the doorways and the pathways to make that happen. And, you know, and that was my experience, you know, growing up in Brownsville. You know, we, as I mentioned, you know, some of our education facilities or institutions are a bit lacking, but there's a lack of guidance and access and opportunities. And so that was my experience as a high school student who graduated early and got accepted into an HBCU, but never made it through the door because I didn't have proper guidance. And there's so many, I'm not just one, there's many. And so that's why, that really is what compels me to do this work. And to, you know, make sure that we are creating the partnerships, but if they were not willing participants, it would never happen. So I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely, here. Important thing too, you talked earlier about, the encouraging young people to go into the trades. I mean, there's a tremendous need for young people to go into the trades. Many of those young people won't be going into established businesses, they'll be starting their own business, or they'll be taking over business, and they need to understand how to run that business, or they can be a phenomenal plumber, a phenomenal electrician, a phenomenal carpenter, but if they don't understand how to run a business and how to do payroll and risk management and all that, they may fail, and that would be tragic. And so how do we ensure that our communities are there to support them and lift them and to get them what it is that they need? It doesn't always have to be a cookie cutter, the same thing for everybody. In fact, it rarely is.
It really is. And, you know, you would think that I paid Kelly to say that because we actually are opening a trade school in the businesses. It's literally going to be in the same building, you're all invited. The building will be, finished in December 2025. It's called the Brownsville Hub. And so because of that same exact reason, but what we also will be able to provide is the, not just the opportunities, but also just educating people so that they understand that if you go to college, right? If you get a degree in engineering, you know, there are so many other avenues that can open up. But again, if the information isn't accessible, right? That's why you have, you know, we experience aggressive development in so many ways.
And they may not know they need it until they really need it, and we'll be there for them.
The point is we have both.
Just to give you an example, I'm often called upon to, people see me as an entrepreneur, but I'm not, just someone who came from a background that helped me along the way. But I'm hooked up with the University of Cincinnati. And even back in the UK, what they asked me to do is to do a Teams meet to the class. And speak from my experience as to how it happened, why it happened, what opportunities came across my path, the problems that I had, how did I solve them. Is that something that you write or have got as part of your program, or create a hub of entrepreneurs that can be exported in as part of your program?
So absolutely, we are actually working with 4 different universities to co-create the curriculum, which isn't easy. Academia is, you know, they have a way of working.
Very deliberate.
Very deliberate. But it is important to have multiple, and from the community level, it's important to have multiple partners. And so we managed to do that, as well as bring in industry partners. The corridor project that we're working on right now to revitalize one of our main streets, we are creating a restaurant row, bringing in restaurants to partner with local entrepreneurs to open up brick and mortar restaurants in a community that has been devoid of restaurants for 50 years. And so we have to partner industry, experts and academia, because this is a heavy lift. So yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yes, sir.
Hi, excuse me. I enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. I do want to ask, so are you working with students looking to get into the interaction industry? Because so I'd love to discuss that with you. I can say that because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that touches everything that we do today, and you don't need a degree to do very well. You can make a lot of money, you can have a long career. And again, I understand I'm in the college, so I'm not knocking it. No, it's cool. I'm just pointing out, you know, it's something that needs to be said. You know, I'm not opposed to trade schools. I think trade schools are great. I do think we need more doctors in our community than anything else, but that's another story. But the insurance industry right now is losing people. They've been talking for years about the grading of the industry. Where the one generation is leaving, retiring, and they don't have enough people coming in to fill those gaps. There was a stat that said that every graduate in an insurance and risk management program got a job. It's only 15% of the available opportunity in the industry.
Wow.
So there's a lot of opportunities there. Not to mention in InsurTech, which is a tremendous field right now, and a lot of money to be made in that. So I'd love to talk to, about that, if that's something that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are in the business of eradicating poverty in our communities, and so the more pathways to industry, the better.
I'm in the business of eradicating my personal poverty.
And we can also have a discussion around the disaster preparedness as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you have any literature or any, that you can?
We can, I think Dr. Bull may have, and I can also share before I leave, we have literature about the specific program. But we also, I'll also share links to our website. I mean, again, it's one of a wide variety of programs that we have and that we're developing.
Yeah, I think it's part of, because of the participation and certainly the interest that's come through. I think it's worthwhile reading the details so we can follow that. We're never going to cover it while we're here. There's still a lot of research afterwards and reflection. And I think it'd be really worthwhile.
Yeah, I think if I could leave you all with any one thing, it's that anything having to do with entrepreneurial leadership in a business school, Babson is interested in being of service, that our mission extends far beyond the undergraduates and the graduate students that are on our campus that we're working with. We truly are driven to make ourselves available to help educate anyone, anywhere, anytime. And my colleagues they're inspirational, and their drive, it's not just ability, but their commitment to being collaborative and to customize and to meet specific needs, and collaboration is just a fundamental component of what we believe and what we teach. And this is a real offshoot of that. So, this is an example.
This is an example. And we have several. Last year, the HBCU business deans came together, and one of the deans wanted to do case studies of Black entrepreneurs, and the HBCU Business Deans Roundtable, Babson, and that specific university, Jackson State, which has a PhD program in entrepreneurship, one of the very few offered by HBCU, and also graduate programs in master's and undergraduate in entrepreneurship. So Babson stepped in, said, how do you want it? They didn't tell us how to do it. They asked. Collaboration was together with those three entities. So they have been very collaborative. They can't do everything. There's some things that we asked to do. Our veterans program wanted to happen. There wasn't a way that we could get it done.
Reconnect with some stuff, folks, they're doing some veteran stuff though.
Oh, okay. So, but I say ask, and they have been very collaborative, not just with the HBCU business deans, but with Medgar. With Medgar College, and hopefully with the they actually want to do more with LaShawn, so LaShawn and her organization. So they have, to your point, when you asked, will they from Rhode Island work with Rhode Island? I have found that they have been very collaborative. So hopefully they'll be collaborative with you.
Well, I don't need to tout your horn up at Babson, but in my field is finance. And so I've intersected with my colleagues at Babson. Babson has always been a technology leader. So when you were one of the first in business schools to get a trading room, and it wasn't that you just had a trading room, but you had a program on how to get all of the classes to actually utilize that trading room. So I mean, Babson's always been there. But I promise you this, I do my medical work in Leahy and Burlington. Instead of driving up, I'm gonna phone, yeah, and get a free lunch.
That's, anytime. No, it's interesting, I kind of lost it, my train of thought, give me a second, and, I completely lost my train of thought. I love it because we're able to, we think outside the box, we take the stone soup model. Like, we can come to the village square with what we have to offer and combine it with everyone else who shows up to make something beautiful. And I see that happen over and over. So we're in the process right now of developing we have a concentration in tech, but we're looking to possibly create a new major in tech entrepreneurship. We're known for entrepreneurship, but most of our students actually graduate with a degree in finance. And we're known for entrepreneurship, but most of our students, and we talked at lunch about entrepreneurship, we believe that entrepreneurial mindset is useful in no matter what it is endeavor that you're trying to tackle and accomplish and advance. And we found that employers, the big employers, they agree. So most of our students are actually working for publicly traded companies and are not owners on their own. That being said, we have an institute for family business where we work with families about how to raise entrepreneurial children, and we're doing research in that area. We are working in real estate and a lot with finance. Our students, we have a group of students that we give a portion of our endowment to, and for the last several years, they've outperformed the S&P. So we get real creative. We work with women entrepreneurs. We have launch pads. We teach people how to pitch. So we start from the ground up, and anything that we have, we figured out how to do, we're happy to share. Because we know we have a lot to learn from you all too.
Well, I'm gonna share what we're doing in South Africa. Because
Well, no, we're very interested. We're
Yeah.
actually, we're working in Ghana right now, and we're working, we're all over Africa. I'm not, my brain's not working right now, but, we had a group of students that did entrepreneurial leadership training with young people in Tanzania over the break. And we're very interested in lifting up the AU. We see tremendous untapped potential and really smart colleagues who could, if they can benefit from what we have to offer, we're there for them.
Do we have anything else?
Can I just close by saying, I'm not an academic. I'm a degree in history. I've been a fundraiser for over 30 years. This is my old neighborhood. I used to live right down the road. So this is a nice homecoming. I've been so inspired all day by all of you. Those of you who presented, those of you who've asked questions, and what a lovely group. And thank you so much for inviting me to come. And
Welcome back next year. And I will say this also is a tribute to Dr. Dada. When we first started, it was just academics talking to now we have industry people, we have community leaders, and Dr. Dada was open enough to open the group up. So thank you all for coming and inspiring us. So that, the academics, I remember I started earlier, the academics, but this is so fresh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a sentence.
No.
I only get today.
Yes, I need to go back tomorrow. This is actually a holiday in Massachusetts, Patriots Day, it's when the revolution started.
tax took tomorrow.
And tax day, they moved our tax office from Massachusetts to Connecticut, so we still have to get our taxes in. I've got mine in my purse, I gotta find it in my mailbox.
There's one question.
Am I going to be able to
see you because I didn't present today, I'm going to present tomorrow. So can I see you today?
Yes.
Because I'm interested, and I like the presentation you just did. And
Yes.
I'm a businesswoman.
Thank you. Excellent.
Really, really good.
Excellent.
Well, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.